I got a viewer requested comment for a video topic. So Angela M, she's planning on getting an RV, a Class B most likely, and wants to know, okay, after I get the RV, what are some of the other things I really need to purchase and some things that I would like to have tos and nice to haves. First, I've said this before, tires. Tires are very important. Another thing that's really important before we get into real things is roadside assistance plan, either through your insurance or Good Sam's. Even if you're mechanical or not, there could be times where having at least a towing service is something that would be really valuable. So that, and when it comes to the RV, the only other thing I'll say is I think you really want to have a generator. No matter what kind of RVing you're normally doing, if you're doing mostly campground, which I tend to do because of the animals, even on this trip I had to use the generator, and there are times I hope to get to use it more. But I have a storm coming, so I got to get my awning down, secure stuff, and then inside I'll go on some other stuff. Okay, not that I haven't shown this before, but for me, because I like to cook, the little bitty propane grills are great. And a bike rack. I have that one, and I also have this one, which I have a platform for my hitch that I can put more storage in that I'm probably going to start using more often, and put the bike up on there. Another really important thing is a high quality, good 30 amp extension cord. You can have other ones as well, but you should really have at least one good high quality 30 amp extension cord. Okay, it's raining, I got to get this shut down. Okay, now we're inside and we'll do some of the inside stuff. You might laugh, duct tape. Never leave home with duct tape. And it's just not a guy thing that we put duct tape on everything, but you can save yourself so many problems with duct tape. It can be used on a permanent basis if you want, or you can use it just temporarily until you can get something fixed. 1,000,001 uses for duct tape. Because remember when they went to the moon and they broke their little buggy, duct tape saved the day and they were able to keep using the buggy. So never leave home without duct tape. Tie straps. Tie straps are a wonderful thing. I got a couple different sizes. I also have the kind that are adjustable and you can reuse them. Again, they can come in unbelievably handy on so many things. So tie straps, I call those a must. Various clamps and stuff like that. Again, these are a must. You can use these for so many things. From picnic table crap to your awning to inside your RV, holding things, what you know what clamps do, but I call those a must. And I have a bunch of different sizes. I keep a little ribbon of wire just in case. You never know what you might use it for. I've never used it, but it's good to have. Sometimes books. I try to keep a couple books. This is Bill Bryson. I haven't read it yet. He does a lot of travel kind of going places stuff, and his books, big fan. And I have The Alchemist. I've been wanting to get this started. It's supposed to be the book for people that are out there traveling and searching for something. Never sure what it is, but you're searching for something. So have a couple books in case your Kindle or whatever, if you're a reader, if you choose to read, just in case, a backup. I'm not gonna go into my personal thing, but many of us on the road feel it necessary to carry personal protection. So I have that. Also, just a little thing of mace. It's pepper spray. I hope I never have to use it. But I've never yet run into a situation where I'm concerned about that. But you hear stories that some people have had issues. Not too often, but you do hear stories. So it's always good to be able to protect yourself. Next time I get to Canada, I'm probably going to get some of that bear repellent because it shoots really far in case I run into a bear or an idiot. Flashlights, you can never have too many. Also a hand crank type, just in case. This is a plug-in battery recharger for rechargeable batteries. Great thing to have. I have a solar one. I'm not even sure if it's in the RV. It might be at my house, but those work great too. This is also a great thing to have. This is a piece of magnesium. It's for starting fires. great to have in case of emergency. Now for me, I'll call this a must, because again, with the pets, I do a lot of camping in campgrounds or where I have electricity. So I'm most likely going to touch on this topic again, but I'm of the mindset, if I'm at a campground, if I'm at some place where I have electricity, why would I burn my propane? So I have this electric burner. They're really cheap. In the long run, they save you a lot of money. I also have the fancy induction cooktop, which is great. Takes special pans, but you can pick one of these up super cheap, and it's a great thing to have. To me, it's a must. I also consider this, for me, a must. This is my little New Wave mini oven. I like to eat, I like to cook, and in a small class B, you don't have a propane oven. So if you need an oven, this is a way to do it. The minis might be hard to find. They make a bigger one, which again gives you the size problems in a small class B, but for me, that's a must. WD-40. I have a couple different ones. I have the little pen one as well. Never leave home without WD-40. It can do so many wonderful things for you. WD-40 on the must list. One of these little key set tools, great thing to have. There's so many different things that will fit this that you need, either on your RV or things you're taking with you. And something like this is just a little battery powered lantern with rechargeable battery. Always good to have something like this. I also have a little fan, battery operated fan. That's good to have. Like the other night when I lost power, sometimes you're not sure how long you're going to be, and if you just need light for a couple minutes, something like this works. And I use it outside most of the time. But on that note, if you use your generator and you think your generator is going to recharge your house batteries, you're mistaken. It just gives a very slow trickle charge. It is a very inefficient way to try to recharge your onboard batteries. A must-have, sriracha sauce. Can't go anywhere without sriracha sauce. I carry a battery meter. I keep that with me, so if I'm having issues and I want to rule out what it is and what it isn't, a battery tester is a very good thing. You can use it for your battery, and you can use it all around your outlets and stuff like that. A battery tester is a good thing. Vinny, seriously, dude, really? A bat to hit cats with. I don't know if I would call these a must, because I haven't used them yet, but mosquito nets, if you get up north, you need these things. Must have first aid kit. I also have a bigger one, it's buried, but you must have a first aid kit. Things happen. Life happens. Good to have for binoculars, or for any weird reason, just animals or whatever you want to look at. A must have is a good utility, a Swiss Army kind of utility thing. This is knife and fork and can opener, bottle opener kind of thing. Not a must, but very nice to have, is a 12-volt cooler. That helps a lot. I've used it quite a bit. A must have is, this isn't Rqst'd, this is a normal windshade, but you can position those. I do have Rqst'd, real Rqst'd, that works great. I have that piece in place because this side was getting a lot of sun. I have pieces big enough for the back window and both windows. Rqst'd, not just something for the winter, it's great for the summer too. I highly suggest having Rqst'd. I'd say this is a good thing to have, not a must-have. This is a Wilson cell phone amplifier, signal strength amplifier. But I gotta be honest, where I'm at here, I get terrible cell reception. This doesn't really seem to help very much at all. Sometimes I wonder if mine's broken or it's just such a bad spot that this doesn't do much. It sometimes gives me 1 extra bar from what I'm getting. So I go from 0 to 1-ish. But these are good to have, very good to have. A fan plugged in. This is a normal 110, and I also have a 12-volt fan. I would say the 12-volt fan is a must, and a little fan like this is a must, and this is pretty close to a must, a good have, because it depends on what kind of power you have. I've shown before that I've used this little space heater a lot. Obviously it's summer, so I'm not going to use it, but something like this, really cheap. If you're connected to power, why burn your propane? If you're in a small class B, why burn your propane? So these are I've gotten more than my money's worth out of this. Because I think there's times when you'll actually spend less money at a cheap campground than you will boondocking if you have to run your generator a lot or you have to run your propane a lot. Because propane, it can add up. It can be expensive. And if you're plugged in somewhere where you have power. When it comes to bathroom uses, this Chem Clean or whatever type of product you want to use for your black tank, must have. Gotta have that stuff. Again, I don't use it very much because I do my best if I'm at a campground to not use my onboard bathroom. It's a porta potty, it's gonna smell. So I try not to use it if I can avoid it. Also, I would say this stuff is a must. This is Plumbers Grease. And what you do with that, but you put it around the seal on the inside of your toilet, your RV toilet, and that keeps it pliable and keeps it from cracking, because once that cracks, smells will come up. And also, just for people that don't do a lot of RVing yet, when you're hooked up at a campground and you have your stinky hose into the thing, you still keep your valves closed on the RV. You still put stuff into the tank and then release it down in there. You don't leave it open all the time because that smell will come back up. And also, you keep a little bit of water inside the bowl of your toilet to make sure that your seal is still good. Can opener a must. Right, Vinny? This is my food storage. It's also very good. I like to eat fresh when I can, but you should also keep some things on hand, your just in case stuff. Like this is a can of grilled chicken, stuff like that, storable. I put this on the must list, damp rid, and more than one. I have two, and if you have an RV, you have to have damp rid. As you can hear, it's raining. It gets very damp inside these. For me, I guess the next thing is a good to have, but I use it far more than the damp rid, and that's my Ivation little dehumidifier thing. And you can see that's about 20 hours, and it's probably taken about 4 ounces of water out of there. So again, this one's by Ivation. Everything I get is almost on Amazon, so you can find one. But again, you need power for this. Not a lot, it's just a little fan in there, but I think this works even better than a damp rid. Much better. But you still need damp rid. Even though it's raining, these RV mats, foldable RV mats, almost a must, because my shoes stay outside. That's where I store my shoes a lot of times. These got left out in the rain, but they're meant to be wet. But I'd call that a must, just to keep junk out of your RV. I've shown this before. I will put it on the nice to have list. This is my Duracell 600. I don't have a real solar system. I want one, you know, a real solar generating system. But this has, I can charge this from 110, has a plug. I can charge it from the alternator while I'm driving, and I have a small 30-watt panel. And I used it this trip when I was doing the test on the 12-volt cooler, and it kept it running the whole time. This one also has jumper cables that hook up to it, and I have jump-started this RV 4 or 5 times with it. It works really well. So this is not a must, but it's a nice to have. A lot of stuff depends on how you're going to be camping. You know, if you're going to be at campgrounds most of the time, well, normally you don't have to worry about this. If you're going to be boondocking, you need something better than this. You need a solar better than this. And I can't give a ringing endorsement on this. I kind of broke it. I showed that before. I had the solar panel hooked up to it, and I stepped on a cord and kind of messed it up. So I had to take the whole thing apart. But lots of people gave bad reviews to this. So far, I've been lucky. I've seen it not being as good lately. But something like this is useful. And it has a radio in it. Good stuff like that. Like this is a solar radio flashlight. It has the weather band and all that. These are great things to have. A bigger, you know, big time weather radio is awesome to have, but this one works pretty well. Okay, in your RV fridge, these little fans are really important because RV refrigerators are not like your home refrigerator. They take heat out, they don't put cold in. That's as close to a must as you can get to help you. And up there is a definite must. You can see I got this sucker cold. You gotta have a thermometer inside your RV. You have to be safe with the food you're eating. Very, very important. Don't ever not have one. And just a tip, if you go to buy a used RV, if they know you're coming, tell them you want them to turn on the refrigerator well before you get there, because RV fridges take a long time to get cold. So you want to make sure that before you make a purchase that it works, because if you want to replace an RV fridge, you know, a 2-way or 3-way, this one's a 3-way, they're very expensive. So make sure the refrigerator works. Okay, depending on the type of camping you're doing, if you're doing a lot of boondocking, this is a must. If you're not, this is still good to have. These are the LED lights, replacement lights. And you can see they give off a good amount of light. Use so much less power. I still have the old kind in a couple places because I don't use these lights very much. I bought a bunch. I could use some more, but I put the LEDs in the ones I use a lot. But that's the normal light, and it uses so much more power. And you can be the judge on what kind of light they both give out. I kind of actually prefer the light from the LEDs. And you'll also notice, I've noticed before, that if I keep this on too long, the compartment up above here gets really hot. These kick off a lot of heat. These don't kick off hardly any heat. So that's another benefit. So for me, I guess I'd put these at a must, the LED replacement lights. And they make different kinds. This is a different one. It's a little bit brighter. But LED lights, I'll call them a must. If you're traveling with pets, this is a must. Gotta have one of these. They make mess. These are the Save the Planet kind of bags that you can get for free at RV shows and stuff like that. In a small Class B, they are friggin' awesome just to try to unclutter things. You can organize them like I've shown before. I put my clothes, I fold my clothes up in them, and I know what's in each color kind of bag. But just to have out in the RV, just to throw things in, because no matter how hard you try to be organized in a small space like this, it can get messed up quick. I swear everything I have is either covered in cat hair or sriracha sauce. So these bags are, I put them on my must list. I wouldn't be happy without them. And now we'll walk around and look at some other things. Those are Lynx levelers. They're little plastic. You stack them kind of like Legos. Definite must on a Class B to try to get something close to level. You can see I got them up under the front because this side's got two because this end was a little low, and this side to side was a little sloped, so sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get these going. RV water hose, gotta have, even though I don't drink out of the tank, gotta have. Let's go in here. In here, bungee cords, must. They can do so many things. Gotta have a bungee cord. Water filter. Again, I don't drink out of the water, but usually, this time I didn't, but usually I hook up the water filter as well. So that's a must for most people. This is a must. This is an adapter to take your 30 amp to 110. And you use this so that even if you're not RVing, like when you're not RVing, it's very important to, if you can, keep your RV hooked up so you can keep your house batteries charged, so you can run your vent fan and stuff like that and keep your CO2 thing. So an adapter is a must, my opinion. I have a real bed. And to me that is a must. As high up on the must list as anything is a real bed. These are noodles, you know, like you use to float with. I'd call them nice to have, but if you bang your head against your awning poles a couple of times, you might move these up to must have. Wheel chocks, those are always good to have. Toolkit, I have a decent one. I should have a little bit better of a toolkit, but you should know the things that your RV needs. What doing, Keek? And make sure to have socket sets that fit your RV. Back there, that is a nice to have. That's a 1 gallon shop vac, and with this one it becomes almost a must because, again, cat hair. These are the Mondo big plastic bags. I'll call these a must, especially on a day like today, because I use them to cover the power outlet so I don't get any shorts or anything like that. So I'd call those a must. This is a definite must. This is a tire repair kit, just in case you have some problems with your tires. These are the jumper cables to that Duracell battery pack. These are nice to have. I'm not using them to keep your awning down. What I did is I used some bungee cords to my bike rack, just in case. Down in here, extra extension cords. I have battery cables. Both I would call a must. That black bag down there has some tarps and some more floors. That is a 12 by 12 foot screened room with a floor. That's a nice to have. I don't use it very much. Back there in the back are more tools, socket set. Those are a must, tools. Even if you don't know how to use them very well. You know, for those out there that are not mechanically inclined, it's okay. Just have them in case you get somewhere. And you go to campgrounds, a lot of people are really nice and will help you if you have the ways for them to help you. That is a little bitty small 12-volt air compressor. I'd call that a must. I haven't had to use it for emergency reasons yet, but it would be good to have. I use it mainly just to fill the bike tires. But something like that could come in real handy. It's alright, Keek. If it stops raining, we'll put your tent up. A bucket is a must. And because remember, most things you got to try to think of for your Class B, you want to have multiple purposes. I use this as a bucket. I also do my dishes in it often because that little bitty sink. I find it much easier just to do them in the bucket. I could go out and buy those fancy wash bins, but why? And where am I going to store all these things when I get them? So a bucket's a great thing. Something simple like a bucket is a must. Okay, and in there I have a cat tent. For me, that's a must to keep them from going bonkers. And I have a couple those collapsible chairs, and those are a must because you're going out RVing. You want to look at things. Take a chair with you, sit down and relax and enjoy yourself. So I call a chair a must. There's my other chair. It's a Yankee chair. That one was an Ohio State chair. But again, for me, number one top on the priority list is a bed. Everybody's different how they want to do their RVing, and that is something that before you buy your RV, and it had something to do with the RV I chose on how the bed situation would work out. That's why I think I chose my 99 Leisure Travel, because I could tell this was going to be possible. So comfort, you know, it's very important to be comfortable. And many of the things that you say, well, is this a have to or a nice to have? You can blur the line so easily because being comfortable is almost a have to thing. If you're not enjoying it as well as you could be, then you're missing out on the best parts of the experience. I guess I'll put this on the nice list. This is like a 12-foot extender for 12 volt, a 12-volt outlet. It comes in real handy sometimes. This is more on the actual camping side than the RV side, but this is one of those watertight bags that you can put cell phones or whatever you don't want to get wet. Very, very nice to have if you like to go out hiking or get around the water. That's a little iPod player. I put that close to must for me. I also use my old cell phone, and I have a Bluetooth speaker that I tend to be using more than this. But to me, music is on the must-have list. For me, this is a must. This is a 5-gallon jug that I put good drinking water in and a hand pump, and I keep it in there. I don't drink out of my tanks. When I bought my RV used, it had Velcro lined around it. So when I was putting it up, she wanted to come outside, so she's in our cat tent. But if you're going to boondock a lot, something like this would almost be a must in the right temperatures, when it's just warm enough. Again, this was a thrift store find, and my aunt's amazing talents. I spent $8 and she cut this all down to fit, and also made her thing that went around my awning. I put it in an earlier video. So I hope in some small way that helps a little bit on some of the things. I'm sure I forgot some stuff, and there might be people that add comments about, you know, you should really have this. Either something I forgot or something that I might go, oh yeah, I should have that. Class B, A, C, it does travel trailer, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're out there chasing a dream you might have, it's a wonderful thing. And these things are just things that make it easier and better. So have a great and wonderful day.